Hey guys, I got this TV in from a friend of mine. It's an AOC TV. It's plugged in, and right now I'm not getting any standby light while it's plugged in. And if we hit the power button, nothing. It's just acting like a dead TV. So let me take the back off and see what I can see in the back. So I took the back off. As you can see, but this board here, power supply. This one over here, that's the LED driver that powers all of the LEDs behind the LCD. Power supply, and then this is the main board. That's where the brains of the TV are located. And then up here, underneath this cover, is the T-Con board, and that's hooked directly up to the LCD. Once you plug it in, I should be getting 5 volts or 3.3 volts off the power supply here, off one of these certain pins. I'll show you a little bit closer in a minute. I should get the 5 volt standby. That's going to go over to here to the main board. But even when it's plugged in, it's kind of like a sleep mode for the main computer. And then once you power it on with the IR board here with a remote control, or there's a push button on the side here, they'll send it back and send out a signal back to the power supply, and from there they'll turn on the high voltage for everything else and get the TV running. So let me do some troubleshooting, and I'll show you what I found. Alright, so the first thing I did when I took this back off was I just kind of looked for any signs of physical damage, any burnt boards or any of these capacitors that they might have been bubbled at the top here. I didn't see anything. Everything looked pretty normal. So what I'm going to do now is, well, I already tested that the plug works, so I know I'm getting my 120 volts to the power board. So I will check now the main fuse here to see if something happened with that. The report that I got was that my friend was checking. He was working on a socket at his house, and he heard something, what he said, pop on the TV. So that's why I'm going to check this first and see what I'm getting for voltage. Let's see, I'll put my meter on. I'm going to leave it on AC. I'm going to ground it to the board here. And 120 on that side, and 120 on that side. So I know that the fuse is good and my board is powered up. Now I'm going to check the standby light on the side here. It lists what each one of these pins, what kind of voltage should be coming off those pins. So I'm going to check my standby voltage because I do not have a standby light on the front of my TV like I showed you earlier. So let me check that. I'm going to put my meter to DC. And let's check this out. Put on the board. 5.2 volts, that's good. Another 5.2 volts. That's off these wires here. It's a brown wire, a black wire. And I have my other voltage, the PS on. I'm only getting 1.3 DC volts on that. That doesn't seem right. I believe the PS on is the power supply on. So we got some 12 volts here. That's 24 volts DC. 24 volts DC, that's all okay. Got some grounds, 12 volts up here, which is correct. Another 12 volts, it's correct. And the PDM pin, there's nothing on that. So to me, right off the bat, since I am getting my standby voltage through these pins, this power supply board should be good. If I was not getting any standby voltage out of these pins here, that would lead me to believe that there's something wrong with the power supply board. So like I said, now I got the 5 volts here. Let me follow that through to the main board over on this side and trace that out. Something else I'm going to do here is I disconnected all of the wire harnesses from the power supply, and I just want to test these pins to make sure I'm not getting any feedback voltage or anything that's kind of screwing me up. So let me plug it back in. Let me just check what the true readings are. Let's see, this is 5 volts. Yep, I'm getting 5 volts from this power supply. Let me check this one. Yep, 5 volts there. PS on, nothing. Nothing on the 24. Nothing on the 24. Let me see the 12s up here. Nothing else. So, but the main thing I'm looking at is the 5 volts standby I am getting out of this power supply. So, as you saw earlier, I was getting the 12 volts and the 24 volts earlier when I had the harnesses connected, which leads me to believe that I am getting some kind of voltage back from the main board. So let me keep tracing out that 5 volts over to the main board. Let's see what's going on with that. So now that I determined that the power supply is okay, I'm going to follow the standby voltage from here over to this harness. I know that standby volts was the brown, the black wire. They're on the bottom here, but now they're at the top on this one. So let me check that. Make sure I'm getting standby volts into the main board. Getting 5 volts there. I'm getting 5.2 volts there. So at least now I know the main harness. There's no broken wire in that. That rules that out. So let me check the actual standby light volts. So I should be getting that 5.2, or it might be the voltage might have changed to 3.3 out to the standby light. That's what these lines are here. We got this one here that goes to the IR board. That's going to be reading the remote control whenever you hit the buttons on that. And then this one here, goes to the power button on the side of the TV when you hit the power button. So I should be getting voltage on those, so that when I do hit the power button, it makes the connection on the power button and completes the circuit. It sends the voltage back to the main board. So let me check, see what I have across all these pins. This one's just a ground, so I'm not going to get anything there. I'm only getting half of a DC volt, 0.5. So it doesn't seem right. Same thing on this wire. That's 0.2. Nothing. Needs a ground maybe. Half a volt. Just doesn't seem right. Same thing, half a volt. What I want to do, just to rule out maybe any kind of voltage that's coming back through these wires, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to check the pins themselves coming off of the main board. Alright, I've disconnected the harness for the IR board and the power buttons. So let me check the voltage right on these pins. Nothing's ground. 0.5, 0.5, 0.2, 0.2, ground. Another 0.5, so another 0.5. So what I'm kind of getting out of this is, so I'm getting that 5 volt standby into this main board, but the issue is that I am not getting any voltage out of these pins here, which I should be getting at least like 3 volts to send it out to the power button. So you need to send the volts out to the power button, and when I press the power button, it's going to send the volts back to the main board, and the main board will see that coming back voltage, and then that's the, like I said, that's the brains of it, and they'll send that. They'll say, okay, I'm ready to be turned on, and it'll power up the rest of the board. So what I'm guessing right now is, through troubleshooting, that I have a bad main board. So I actually have another one already that I ordered. I'm going to pop it in and we will check it out. So I have my brand new second-hand main board that I just installed. I hooked up all of the connections, put them all back. This one's a T-Con. Put everything back together. So let me plug it in and see what happens. Alright. I noticed right away I'm getting the red light for my standby light. I don't know if you can there you go, you can kind of see that right there. So that's a good sign. I already plugged in, I'm getting a red standby light, which before I was not getting anything. It was a completely dead set. Got DC volts. It's a standby voltage. I'm getting that in to the main board, and like I was checking earlier, let me check for voltage down here. There you go. I'm getting 3.3 volts, which is great. So I know I'm getting power to the power button. So let me turn the power on and we'll see what I get. So I got my standby light on with it plugged in. So the power button. It's a good sign. I got the blue light now. And there we go. working. Perfect. Yeah, we got a bad main board there. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. I'll try to answer whatever I can. If this video helped you out in any way whatsoever, please like the video, subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more troubleshooting things to fix stuff.